Welcome to the Exponential English Podcast. This is a place to slow down, to breathe, and to learn English naturally. Here we use simple words, clear sentences, and real ideas. You do not need to understand everything. Just relax and listen. You can listen while walking, while cooking, or while resting. Every episode is designed to help you think in English. Not fast, not stressful, just step by step. This is your time, your practice, your growth. Let's begin. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You are almost 60 years old. You live alone. The house is quiet. Too quiet. The person you love the most is gone, and the only child you have is far away. This is the story of Linda Parker. Linda is 59 years old. She lives in Brighton, a seaside city in England. You can hear the sea on windy days. You can smell the salt in the air. But inside her small old house, Linda mostly hears silence. Her husband died not long ago. After his death, the house changed. The same rooms were there, the same chair, the same kitchen table. But the warmth was missing. Linda tried to be strong. She told herself, "I'm okay. I can do this." But at night, it was harder. She would sit by the window and look at the street lights. She would think about the past. She would remember the sound of her husband's voice. She would remember the way he laughed at small jokes. And then she would remember something else. Her son. His name is Daniel. Daniel moved to Canada years ago. He was young when he left. He wanted a new life, a better job, a bigger future. Linda understood that. Or at least, she tried to understand. In the beginning, Daniel called often. He sent photos. He said, "Mom, look at the snow. Mom, look at my new apartment." But slowly, the calls became fewer. Weeks became months. Months became long, empty seasons. Linda would look at her phone and hope. She would hear it ring and her heart would jump. But it was usually a shop, or a wrong number, or a neighbor. Sometimes Linda would call Daniel first. She would say, "Hi, darling, it's Mum." And Daniel would say, "Hi, Mum. Sorry, I'm busy." Then the call would end quickly. Linda never wanted to sound needy. Needy means you need too much from someone. Linda didn't want to be too much, so she started to say less. She started to smile and say, "It's okay, I'm fine." Even when she wasn't. After her husband died, Linda hoped Daniel would come. She hoped he would fly back to England and stand beside her at the funeral. She hoped he would hold her hand and say, "Mum, I'm here." But Daniel didn't come. He sent a short message. That was all. Linda cried in her bedroom, alone, with the door closed. And still, even after that, she loved him, because mothers often love like that. They love even when it hurts. They love even when they feel forgotten. One morning, months later, Linda was making tea. The kettle boiled. Steam rose into the air. The kitchen smelled warm for a moment. Then she heard a knock on the door. Not a light knock. A strong knock. Linda wiped her hands on a towel and walked to the door. She opened it. And there he was. Daniel. Her son. Standing on her doorstep like a surprise from the past. Linda froze for a second. Her brain couldn't catch up. Then her eyes filled with tears. "Daniel?" she whispered. Daniel gave a small smile. "Hi, Mum." Linda reached out and touched his arm, as if to make sure he was real. "You're here," she said. Daniel stepped inside. He looked around the house. His eyes moved over the old furniture, the small hallway, the worn carpet. Linda wanted to ask 100 questions. Why now? Why didn't you come before? Do you know how lonely I've been? But instead, she said the simplest thing. Do you want some tea? Daniel sat at the kitchen table. He held the cup but didn't drink much. He looked serious. "Mom," he said, "I've been thinking." Linda leaned forward. Her heart felt hopeful, like a small candle lighting up. Daniel said, "You shouldn't be alone here." Linda blinked. "I'm managing." Daniel shook his head. "This house is old, the stairs are steep. Anything could happen. What if you fall? What if you get sick?" Linda didn't like the way he spoke. It felt like he was talking about her like she was fragile. Fragile means easy to break. Still, she listened. Daniel continued, "I worry about you, Mum. I want you to come with me. Come to Canada, live near me. I can take care of you." Those words were like music to Linda's ears. Take care of you. For so long she felt like she didn't matter. And now, suddenly, Daniel was here, saying the exact words she dreamed of hearing. Linda's voice shook. "You want me to live with you?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, it's time. You're not young anymore, Mum." That sentence stung a little, but Linda pushed the feeling down. She looked around her kitchen. This kitchen held her whole life. Birthdays, Christmas dinners, quiet breakfasts with her husband. "I can't just leave," she said softly. "This is my home." Daniel reached across the table and touched her hand. "Mum," he said, "home is where family is." Linda swallowed hard. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that her son had come back, finally, to love her properly. They talked for hours. Daniel spoke about Canada like it was a safe, bright place. "Fresh start," he said. "Better life," he said. "I'll help you," he said. Linda felt pulled in two directions. One direction was her past. The other direction was her son. In the end, she chose her son. Because when you feel alone, even a small promise can feel like a lifeboat. Linda agreed to go. The next weeks moved fast. Daniel helped her sell the house. Selling a house is not just selling walls and a roof, it is selling memories. Linda packed boxes slowly. She wrapped old photos in newspaper. She touched her husband's coat and cried into the fabric. Daniel didn't notice, or he pretended not to notice. He was always checking his phone, always rushing. Linda told herself, "He's busy. He's doing this for me." Finally, the day came, the day they would fly to Canada. Linda stood in the airport with her suitcase. She wore a warm coat. She carried a small handbag tight against her chest, like it was a shield. Airports can feel exciting, but they can also feel cold. Bright lights, hard floors, loud announcements. Linda stayed close to Daniel, afraid she might get lost in the crowd. Daniel walked quickly, like he was late for something. At the gate, Linda sat down in a chair. Her legs felt tired. Daniel looked at her and said, "Wait here, I'll get you a wheelchair." Linda frowned. "A wheelchair? I can walk." Daniel waved his hand like it was nothing. "Just wait," he said. It's easier. Linda didn't want to argue. She didn't want to be difficult. Difficult means hard to deal with. So she nodded. Okay, she said. I'll wait. Daniel turned and walked away. Linda watched him disappear into the crowd. She expected him to return in 5 minutes. 5 minutes became 10. 10 became 20. Linda started to sit straighter. Her fingers gripped the straps of her handbag. She looked left. She looked right. People walked past with coffees, backpacks, children holding toys. Linda's heart began to beat faster. 30 minutes. 40. 1 hour. Linda stood up slowly, her knees shaking. She scanned the area again. No Daniel. She walked to the counter near the gate. Her voice was small. Excuse me. My son. He went to get something. I'm waiting. The worker looked busy. Are you flying today, ma'am? Yes, Linda said. To Canada. The worker checked the screen, then looked at Linda's face. That look made Linda's stomach drop. A police officer approached. His uniform was neat. His face was gentle. Mrs. Parker? He asked. Linda's throat tightened. Yes. I'm Officer Robert Miller, he said. Can we talk for a moment? Linda felt dizzy. Where is my son? Robert paused. Then he said the words that broke her. Daniel boarded the flight. Linda stared at him. What? Robert spoke slowly. He left. He got on the plane. Alone. Linda's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her mind tried to understand, but it couldn't. No, she whispered. No, he wouldn't. Robert continued. We reviewed the cameras. We confirmed it. Linda's legs gave up. She sat down hard in the chair. Her hands began to shake. Why? She whispered. Why would he do that? Betrayal. That is the word for what happened. Betrayal means someone you trust hurts you in a deep way. Linda trusted Daniel. She sold her home. She left her life behind, and he left her at the airport, like she was nothing. Tears ran down her face. She didn't even try to wipe them. Robert sat near her, not too close, not too far. He said softly, I'm so sorry. Linda shook her head again and again. I don't understand, she said. I'm his mother. Her voice cracked on the word, mother. Robert's eyes looked sad. You shouldn't be alone right now, he said. Do you have anyone you can call? A friend? A neighbor? Linda thought of her empty house, the house she no longer owned. She thought of the keys she had already handed over. She had nowhere to go. No, she whispered. Robert took a slow breath. My mother passed away, he said quietly. A few years ago. Linda didn't answer. Robert continued. When I look at you, I think of her, and I can't leave you here. Linda looked up at him through tears. Robert said, I have a home nearby. My wife is there. Her name is Olivia. We can give you a safe place tonight. Just tonight. Then we can figure out what to do next. Linda felt ashamed. Ashamed means you feel embarrassed and bad about yourself. She didn't want to be a problem, but she also didn't have strength left to fight. I don't want to trouble you, she whispered. Robert shook his head. You won't. That night, Linda sat in the back seat of Robert's car. The city lights passed by like blurry stars. Linda held her handbag like it was the last piece of her old life. When they arrived, Olivia opened the door. Olivia was warm and calm. She didn't look surprised or angry. She looked at Linda like she mattered. "Come in," Olivia said gently. "You're safe here." Safe. That word can feel like a blanket. Linda stepped inside. The house smelled like dinner and clean laundry. Olivia made tea. Robert gave Linda a soft blanket. Linda sat on the couch, staring at the wall, still trying to wake up from the nightmare. Olivia sat beside her and said, "You don't have to explain everything tonight. Just breathe." Linda's shoulders began to shake again. She cried and cried and cried, and nobody told her to stop. That night, Linda slept in a guest room. She expected to lie awake all night, but something surprising happened. She slept. Not perfectly, not peacefully, but she slept. Because for the first time in a long time, she wasn't alone in a silent house. The next morning, Robert left early. Linda stayed in the kitchen with Olivia. Olivia cooked eggs and toast. The simple sound of breakfast felt normal, and that made Linda want to cry again. Linda said, "I keep thinking, maybe Daniel will call. Maybe it's a mistake." Olivia didn't answer quickly. She chose her words with care. "Sometimes," Olivia said softly, "people do things we can't understand." Linda stared down at her tea. "I wasn't a perfect mother," Linda whispered, "but I loved him." Olivia reached across the table and touched Linda's hand. "Love should be enough," Olivia said. Later that day, Robert came home. His face was different. His eyes looked heavy. Linda stood up quickly. "Did you hear from him?" Robert's mouth tightened. He paused. Then he said, "No, not yet." The truth was this. Robert had learned that Daniel's flight crashed. There were no survivors. No one came home from that plane, but Robert looked at Linda and saw something important. Even after betrayal, Linda still loved her son. Even after being left behind, she still hoped. Robert knew that if he told her the truth right then, it might destroy her completely. So he chose silence. Not because he wanted to lie, but because he wanted to protect her heart for a little longer. Days passed. Linda stayed with Robert and Olivia. At first, she felt like a guest who stayed too long, but Olivia treated her like family. "Help me fold these towels," Olivia would say, or "Tell me about Brighton," or "Do you like gardening? We have roses in the back." Small invitations, small kindness, and slowly, Linda started to breathe again. Grief is heavy. Betrayal is sharp. But kindness can be healing. Healing means becoming less hurt over time. One evening, Linda sat with Robert in the living room. The TV was on, but neither of them was watching. Linda said quietly, "I feel stupid." Robert looked at her. "Why?" "Because I believed him," she said. "I sold my home. I left everything." Robert shook his head. "You're not stupid. You're loving. There's a difference." Linda's eyes filled again. "But what do I do now?" she asked. "Now," Robert said, "we build something new. Step by step." Step by step means slowly, one small action at a time, because big pain cannot be fixed in one day. Linda began to help around the house. She cooked soup one afternoon. Olivia smiled and said, "This tastes like home." Linda almost didn't know what to do with that sentence because she thought she lost her home forever. Weeks later, Linda started looking for a small place to live nearby, a small flat, a quiet neighborhood. Robert and Olivia went with her. They carried boxes, they hung curtains, they made her new space feel warm. One day, Linda stood in her new kitchen. It was not the old house in Brighton. It was not full of old memories, but it was hers. And more importantly, she was not alone. Linda began to join Robert and Olivia for dinner often. Holidays came. Olivia put an extra plate on the table without thinking, like it was normal, like Linda belonged there. And slowly something changed inside Linda. She stopped waiting for her phone to ring. She stopped staring out the window every night. She started laughing again, sometimes by accident. One afternoon, Linda and Olivia walked in the park. The sky was gray, but the air felt fresh. Linda said softly, "I used to think family was only blood." Olivia looked at her. "And now?" Linda took a breath. "Now I think family is also who stays. Who stays? Who shows up? Who makes you tea when your world breaks? Who gives you a blanket and says, 'You're safe'?" At home that evening, Linda looked at Robert and Olivia and felt something she didn't expect. Gratitude. Gratitude means a deep thank you, not just polite words. A feeling in your chest. Linda said, "I don't know how to repay you." Robert smiled gently. "Just be here," he said. "That's enough." In time, Linda understood something painful, but also something true. Daniel was her son. She loved him. But the son she needed, the son she deserved, was not the one who left her behind. It was the one who stayed. It was the one who saw her pain and said, "You're not alone." Linda found a new family in the place she least expected. Not in Brighton, not in Canada, but right there, in the kindness of strangers who became something more. And maybe that is the message for all of us. Life can break your heart. People can disappoint you. But sometimes, when you think you have lost everything, you find something new, a new home, a new beginning, a new kind of love. If you are listening right now, remember this. You deserve care. You deserve respect. You deserve people who stay. And if you can be that person for someone else, if you can stay, then you can change a life, maybe even save one. Thank you for listening. Before you go, remember this. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep going. Learning English is the same. Some days are easy, some days are slow, some days feel frustrating. That is normal. What matters is that you show up, you listen, you repeat, you try again. If you stay consistent, your English will grow, slowly, naturally. This is Exponential English, small steps, every day, big change over time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take a breath, drink some water, and when you are ready, keep learning.